Greetings everyone, my name is Joel Lyaruu, Head of Marketing and PR at CPS Africa. And to be honest, I don't think you need an introduction, but for those watching, I'm here with Vitalik Buterin. He is the co-founder of Ethereum, which hosts Ether, which is the second largest cryptocurrency to Bitcoin. He's a pioneer of the blockchain industry, and he's got an ability for spotting talent. Vitalik, pleasure to have you on board.
Thank you so much, Joel. Good to be here.
Great. So how are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, day's been great so far. How about you?
I'm also doing good. Thank you for asking. It's been a busy day, but a good day. As they say, busy is good.
It is.
Yes. So you've traveled around the world, and I believe this is your first time in Zanzibar and in Fumba town. What's your first impression?
Yeah, I think it's clearly, still very early, but what I've seen so far definitely, impresses me. It's,
okay.
It feels like it's a very nice place. The nature is good. Everything looks it looks like the sort of place that, again, given another couple of years of construction and people coming here could really become a really interesting place to live.
Glad to hear your perspective, and I feel that we already feel that. It's a very interesting place to be at. Yeah. I'm even very happy to be part of this community. And yeah, I've learned something about you. I heard that you've learned Mandarin in a very short time. Is this true?
It took a couple of years.
Okay. That's interesting. In Zanzibar and Tanzania, we speak Swahili. It is the local language and part of the culture here, and it is spoken by over 200 million people worldwide. Have you learned anything so far?
Asante sama.
Ah, nice. That means thank you.
Yes.
Do you know how to respond to that?
Regrettably, I do not.
Okay, I'll teach you. Karibu.
Karibu.
Yeah, so if someone says Asante sana, you say Karibu.
Okay.
As CPS, we believe in creating communities and nurturing and allowing them to flourish. So with that being said, I know you've visited a lot of communities around the world. From your perspective, which ones would you say are the most interesting that you've seen so far?
I think there's different dimensions of interesting, right?
Okay.
There's a place can be interesting because of its nature, a place can be interesting because of its people, and then if you think about people, there's traditional culture, there's things like food and music, and then on the whole other extreme, there is people building rockets to go to Mars.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of different places in the world that are really just super interesting in their own way. Places that I spend my time in are in the Americas, of course. I grew up in Canada. Gone to the United States a bit. I've also gone to Argentina quite a bit recently.
Okay.
There's a lot of really fascinating people there, and it's the sort of country where the politics has not been amazing, but there's just been huge, really good talent, and even within the Ethereum community, people have contributed a huge amount. Then in Southeast Asia, quite a lot. So actually growing pretty quickly. So the part of all of this that I can track the best is people's contributions to the Ethereum. And I remember 5 years ago, there were people doing mining and trading, but there wasn't really anyone doing much on the technology. But then today, there's just huge numbers of people there making really important contributions. Also, it's the kind of place where from my perspective, it's just a lot of just different cultural things that I'm not used to and that I would not see, like even just like things down to the kinds of fruits that you would eat and you know, the kinds of animals you see.
Yes.
I think, I mean, I find Thailand, like for example, fascinating because I think it's a good place for like creating a mixture of different cultures. Like there's a long history of people, you know, like coming, you know, like both, you know, like locals from China, from Japan, from the West, and it feels like there's a lot of you know, like people really mixing there. And I think you know, like especially as the world becomes more fragmented, just like having places where people can come together like that becomes more valuable.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and then I mean here I've actually like I've noticed a little bit of that same thing here, right?
Interesting, because my next question was going to be like, then what do you think, or what is your perspective of how Zanzibar can become such an interesting community as well, or a vibrant community?
So what I've noticed about the existing like culture and environment over just the last couple of days is that like this is clearly a place that already welcomes a mix of people. Like there is a lot of people from like Oman and like various Arabic countries. There's people from India. There is people from mainland Africa. So, and I know from the history, it's been that kind of place for a really long time. So I think that's like one really valuable ingredient. And then the other is, I mean, from what I've been told, you know, the government is interested in like developing this place as like a technological center and as you know, like something, a place that can really welcome, you know, like not just tourists, but I mean, like even people building all kinds of businesses and like starts to, you know, like build wealth and go up the chain from there. So I think like when you have both a culture and a government that's aligned in that direction, there's definitely opportunities for positive things to happen. So I'm excited about the potential.
Yes, I mean, I agree with you on that. And actually, even behind us, this is sort of like the master plan of what Fumba will be. We are already in, most of this has already been created, and it's through the support of the government, for them having belief in CPS, that has allowed for this to happen. So it's interesting that you would pick up on that as well. Now, there's an article online by the African Development Bank that says 11 countries in Africa are projected to have the fastest growing economies in the world. Now, what potential do you see for countries like Tanzania to grow as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the really, I mean, there's kind of two different sides to this that are important. One is kind of getting the boring stuff right? Which is, you know, if you want to have a place that's good to live, that becomes wealthier, then you know, you need to have you know, like a good economic foundation, property rights, you know, like law, all of those things, actual roads, you know, like high quality internet and all of that stuff. And then the second part of it is, and I mean, I admit this is, you know, the part that I personally get more excited about because it's more my thing, but like finding a way to become part of the story of like frontier 21st century technology, right? Because like there's a lot of these trends that are changing the world really quickly, right? There's, I mean, obviously, you know, like cryptography and like all of the things that I work in, but then AI has been making, you know, like a really
huge the past.
It's been making a really huge impact. You know, all kinds of advances in biotech, and. I think with the interesting thing that like I've personally noticed about new waves of technology is that for many, like not all new waves, but many kinds of new waves, they can often create opportunities for people to come in and start participating on an equal playing field when that was not possible before, right? So like the example that I'm familiar with within Ethereum, right, is that there is this technology called zero knowledge proofs.
Zero knowledge?
Zero knowledge proofs.
Okay.
They're a way to prove things about yourself without revealing any information except for the statement that he wants to prove. So, like for example, if are you a citizen of Tanzania?
Yes.
So if Tanzania has like electronic passports, then you will be able to prove that you are a citizen of Tanzania without revealing your name, without revealing any kind of number, without revealing anything else except for that fact.
Yeah.
Right. And so you could see how this kind of application could be super useful for like electronic voting, just to give one example.
Yes.
Right. So that, like this kind of technology, it also has a lot of use cases. I mean, both inside of Ethereum and in a lot of other areas. And so a lot of people are getting really excited about it. And like as I mentioned before, right? Like 5 years ago, basically no one, like I would even say like between like Tel Aviv and San Francisco was really contributing significant amounts to like core research.
Yeah.
But like that has changed massively. And I think these new waves of technology like are really a really big kind of like foot in the door for that really allowed new people to come in, right?
Yeah.
And now you see people in like China, people in Thailand, like in Singapore, Taiwan, Japan, just contributing a huge amount. And like the fact that it's like a new technology, and so it's like you can't get locked out because you don't have 10 years experience, because no one has 10 years experience.
Exactly.
Right?
We're all on the same level.
Exactly.
That's
I mean, I think like that's obviously not always true, right? Like if if we're talking about rockets to Mars, unfortunately you do need like hundreds of millions of dollars to even start.
That is true.
But I think like the nice thing about like zero knowledge proofs, for example, is that they're pure software.
Yeah.
AI, there's part of the space requires big amounts of training, but parts are smaller and are also pure software. Biotech, I think people are underestimating the extent to which biotech is becoming a pure software problem.
Yeah.
Because like there's lots of general purpose devices now, right? Like you can print like RNA sequences, you can print all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So like a COVID vaccine is literally a text file, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not entirely, because there are like specific pieces that are hard to manufacture, but like that's the direction, right?
Yes.
So I think like there are like these actual opportunities to get in on the ground floor of any new technology wave if you can like really make a good effort and like figure out how to do it. So I think like that's a really interesting challenge, and I think like if Zanzibar can find a way to succeed at that, I think it could be a huge opportunity.
Okay, so I've taken two things from what you've said right now. So we've the potential of an even playing field for Tanzania and other African countries, but not only that, we need to get in on this early. The earlier we get into it, that means we're also jumping ahead of the curve.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you for your insights on that. That has been quite informative. I know you're here with us for the next few days. You have a Z Talk planned this Wednesday from 6 p.m. We'll be streaming it live on our Instagram channel, so please do check it out. The link will also be shared with all of you guys watching this. And Vitalik, any words for the viewers right now?
No, and I hope that I'll be able to see all of you guys in person in 2 days. I'm really I'm excited to learn more about like what's happening here in Zanzibar and in Africa. All of my interactions have been great so far. Looking forward to more.
Thank you for that, Vitalik. A pleasure to meet you.